Hey everybody, Richie here from Reckless Pixel Images, and in today's video we're going to take a look at this here, the Rode Videomic Go 2. So I had this on pre-order from B&H and I forgot that I had it on pre-order. So yesterday when the FedEx guy pulled up, it was like Christmas morning. I got a package that I wasn't expecting, and it was something very cool. So in this video I'm not going to do a full review of this product, but I'm just going to do like an observational review. I like to talk about things that I bought and paid for with my own money. So I'm not being paid by B&H and I'm not being paid by Rode, certainly. So this is what it is, and this is what came in the package. So I got this little ribbon cable. I don't know what to think about that one way or the other. It's very, very thin, but it feels solid, and it's got a 3.5 millimeter jack on each end. So I got this, but I also got the dead cat. So the dead cat, from what I understand, does not normally come with the microphone. This was in a separate box. You purchased this separately, but B&H had it bundled together. So I also have a few other accessories that I will show later in the video that go good with this guy right here. So first, let's get to looking at this guy and just observing this and seeing what this thing is. Now, I'd never had the version 1 of this, so I can't really compare it to version 1, but I do have a couple of these Video Micros, I believe they are, Video Micro Go or something, whatever. Anyway, I've had these for a few years now. I have 2 of them. I'm actually speaking into one of them right here, and I also have 2 microphones here. I have the Rode Videomic Pro Plus. So I'm gonna I'm not really comparing it to this, but this is what I used to use, and I'm hoping that this will take the place of this, because I have a few issues with this, although it's a very good mic. So let's just drop down here. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to weigh stuff. So I like to see if it's what the weight that they claim. Actually, I know that they probably weighed this, and they claim it to be 89 grams on the box, and it is 89 grams. So that's without the windscreen, of course. I don't know why you would not include the windscreen, but let's get rid of the scale and let's get right into looking at this little guy. And we got some hair on it from the dead cat. So it comes with a windscreen. It is a dual shock microphone, and it does not need batteries. It powers itself off of whatever you plug it into, so it does not need batteries. It has this windscreen. We'll take that off. This is a fine open cell foam windscreen. It's the same on the outside as it is on the inside. And I know that sounds crazy, but there are actual windscreens that are like double thickness. This is just a single kind of foam, and I think it's going to be suffice for what you need. And looking at this, we have basically a miniature shotgun microphone. So because it is a shotgun microphone, it is directional, meaning that it's basically picking up from the front is the main part. Now, it does have some holes and screen on the side, but it will pick up a lot less here, a whole lot less. Basically, your clear, crisp sound is going to come from the front. Most people watching this video probably already know that, but I'm saying that for anybody who is just getting into buying maybe their first mic. So having it on the dual shock mount as opposed to this little micro, which has a single shock mount, which works really, really good, but having it on a dual shock mount, I find very nice. It's just, now it has these little markers. I don't know if the camera can get these little arrows here. There's an arrow with a little line. And when you first get the microphone in the box, it's not in the shock mount. And it's got these little 1, 2, 3, 4 arrows that let you line up your shock mount. And then you want to adjust it at the bottom. So we also have the 3.5 millimeter jack here. And this is a dual purpose jack. So what I mean by that is you have a USB-C over here, and it's kind of hard to see, but there is a little hole right there. And when you plug this in, a blue LED light will light up in that hole. At first I didn't know. I said, what is that little hole? Plugged something in and then it lights up. Now, when you have something plugged into here, this jack can be used as a headphone monitoring jack, and you can monitor your sound right off of your microphone, which is awesome. I mean, I just think that's a very amazing thing. So now looking at this housing here, this housing feels to be metal. This is metal. I'm sure it's just aluminum, but this is metal. This is metal. I don't know if these threaded wheels are metal or not, but there are two threaded wheels. One is for your cold shoe, and one is for the housing here. You can slide the whole microphone back and forth. Now, I had read that they had designed this to slide forward for cameras that were DSLRs and Micro Four Thirds that had screens that flipped up or flipped out or something like that. For me, I found a use for sliding it backwards, and I'll show you that in a few minutes when I get to it here later in the video. So underneath we have a 3/8 threaded hole there, and most people are going to want to pick up a little 1/4-20. These are called 1/4-20 inserts, and you're going to want to put your 1/4-20 in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in now, because once I put it in, I probably will never take it out. And almost anything I would ever put it on, like a little selfie stick type thing or something like that, if I was going to not use the cold shoe, I would probably use 1/4-20. So now let's get over here to the dead cat. Now with the dead cat, it came in a separate box, and it had this little black band that has dead cat fur all over it. So I kind of wondered what this little band was, and if you read the directions, you will find out this little band is a seal that you have to then put on the microphone. And I'm going to try to do this in real time quickly. And you slide it forward, and then you're going to put your shock mount back in place, and you got your little arrows there to line you up, and then you kind of want to do your bottom. Now what this does is if you're out in the wind and you have the dead cat on, this will seal up whichever jack you're not using. So if you're not using your 3.5 millimeter jack, you just cover that up, and it keeps the wind from making noise in the back of the microphone, which I think is an awesome design. And if you're using the 3.5 millimeter jack, you cover up the USB-C, and you can actually offset it if you wanted to use both. And this way you're basically going to I would leave this thing on here, because if you take that off, I'm going to lose it. I don't know about you, but I will definitely lose it. And now with that said, let's get over here to the dead cat. So reaching inside the dead cat, it is open cell foam, but it is a lot coarser than this foam. It's very, very different kind of foam inside of there. And it does have a rubber seal here, which is really nice. Now, what I found to be beneficial is if you're doing a quick switch with these, and you really quickly, when I say quick switch, a lot of times when you're doing something quick out on location, you're doing it quick because you need to do it quick. So this is one of those things you could fumble with. If you try to just stick this on, now see there it went on, but a couple times I was trying it earlier before the video, and it wants to do this. But if you just basically give it the twist, it goes on nice and easy. Now another observation that I made on this dead cat, I'm going to clean his hair up there so he looks all nice and purty, and that is, it basically has a duck bill shape. So it's kind of wedge shaped, but this way it's straight. It just comes out straight. If you feel it, it's the same. But this way, and I'm going to show you how that's beneficial for me here. Actually, I'll just show you right now. So I have here a camera that I use a lot. I mean, this is over the past 2-3 years, I've probably used this camera more than any other camera I've had. I have a catering business that I do a lot of social media stuff for, and I use the Osmo Action, and I also use the Osmo Pocket. So when I'm using the Osmo Action, I oftentimes, almost always, have this guy on here. And if I put him on the top and I'm facing forward, it bobble. Well, first off, even without it bobbling up and down, it gets in the frame of the video. Now I'm shooting in 4K, so I can crop in a little bit and I can get rid of it, but it's still a pain. And I can put it over here, this cage that I have it mounted in, which, by the way, is a small rig cage. And it would sometimes stay out of the way if I kept the hair, but when you walked, it wants to wiggle. Again, it's only a single shock mount. So again, that is the reason I was hoping this guy would save the day. And if we slide this on and we take advantage of sliding that back, remember I told you I was going to show you how I slid it back, and having this, and I'm almost thinking that Rode, you know, they designed this way, that it kind of pinches. You don't really see it, but you can feel it. And it certainly, if I turn this camera on, I have a shadow in front of there, like a shadow on the mat here, but that's just from this and the light. But I have no dead cat, and I can keep it right up there on front. Let's get it up on the main camera here. And I think that's awesome. It's just high enough that, and it doesn't bobble up and down when you walk. And I just think that is, I think it's going to be perfect. And it's also a better microphone than the little Video Micro. So saying it's a little bit better microphone, let's get right to actually doing some recording with it. And I'm going to use the Rode Reporter app in my phone, which is something new to me. But before I get to that Reporter app, I just kind of wanted to show this little guy here. And I know this is kind of crazy, but this is an accessory that I bought. This is made by Rode. And you remember that little 1/4-20 insert that I put in. And by the way, this thing is just called threaded adapter. That's all it's called. It doesn't even have a number really on the box. So let's just look at this thing real quick. Starting down here on the end, it has a 1/4-20 insert, like a female, and this is going to be 3/8. So I could have used this in place of that one. And then it also has, now you have a 3/8, and this will go up to, I believe, if I'm correct on this, this will go up to a 5/8 stud. And so if you wanted to thread this on a light stand or maybe a boom pole, something like that. And now you have also a 5/8 female that will go to a 1/4-20. So if you had a really big boom pole and you wanted to put this little guy on there. Now, this thing was about 20 bucks. It was like $19 at this time of February 2022. And I feel that it was kind of worth it because, for one, get this back together here so I don't lose it. For one, it feels nice and solid. Like these knurls on here are really, really nice. It has a really nice carabiner, and it has that satin finish. And of course it has the Rode logo, which actually means nothing to me, but it just kind of is a cool thing. And I'm hoping it'll serve its purpose because you can attach it with the carabiner and always have it with you. Now, with that said, I also picked up these two guys, and I don't know if the camera can get these. I have the SC16 and the SC17. So SC16 is this cable here, and this essentially, I'm sorry, wrong one. The SC16 is this cable here, and this has a 90-degree USB. This has a 90-degree USB-C here, and this has a regular USB straight in there. And then over here we have the SC17, which essentially is a 5-foot USB cable, USB-C on both ends. So I already have several of these USB-Cs, but they're dedicated to other things, and I would have to rob it away to use this, and it just would be a pain. So now let's get right to this, and we're going to go to the app in the phone. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and let's take that guy off. Let's put this guy on. See if we can do this kind of quickly. And put that there. I'm going to break out my Sennheiser. Everything's covered with dead cat hair. My Sennheiser headphones. And we are going to plug in the headphones here. There was kind of a unique feature in the app that I've never used before, but I thought this was kind of neat. And let's see what happens here. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and open up the phone. We're going to plug in. And it's set to automatically go to the Road Reporter app. And it opens up normally in recording. But what I want to do is, and actually let me get this so there's no glare on it. So you want to go to settings, and in settings you will see configuration. And in configuration you have your record volume, you have, what is this, high pass, you have high frequency, and then you have pad. You also have direct monitor, and this is very important. Without direct monitor turned on, you can't use the headphones. So if you plug into your Rode mic and you don't hear the headphones in use while you're using this app, you just go ahead and you turn on direct monitor. Now, as I pick this up, and I'm going to start now, I'm actually talking, as you can see, into the microphone a little ways away from my mouth. Notice what the record levels are there. And I have the record level set very, very low. But if you turn on this feature right here, pad, it then becomes to where it's a lot lower. So let's go over to record, and I'll let you hear this in real time. Let me get my headphones on. And what we are going to do is we're going to bring our record level up a little bit, and we are going to hit. So now that I'm talking into this, I moved my record level up, and it's giving me a really nice sound. I like this sound. It's actually better than the sound that I'm getting from the other microphones that I'm recording with at this moment. This is a very, very kind of a bassy sound, but it's not hollow sounding. And it sounds good for just a phone app and something that you can use on the go to get some really good sound that will give you that podcaster, radio announcer kind of sound from just this little mic. So I just wanted to, that's the only recording I'm going to do in this video, but I just wanted to show that. And okay, so there's what we have, and got to take a little bit of a look at it. I'm going to make some more videos as I use this in the future and let everybody have some feedback about what I think about it. I really like Rode mics. I will tell you what really impressed me is I've had different Rode mics over the years, but I will tell you I was very impressed when I had this, because this one, I have two of these, but this is the original one that I purchased. It has some nicks and dings here. I drove over this with my Dodge Durango a few years ago. Totally crushed the shock mount, and it did not hurt the microphone at all. This is the exact microphone that I drove over with my car, fell out of my camera bag as I was getting into my car, drove over it, did not know that I drove over it. When I came home, I seen it laying in the driveway, and all I had to do was buy a new shock mount, and it was fine. So I was very, very impressed with that. I mean, how many people can say they drove over their microphone with their car? Also, while I was in Thailand in 2014, I believe it was, I had this mounted on a Canon EOS M3 while I was in a boat in the Gulf of Thailand, and this thing got hit with a huge wave. Now, it did have the dead cat on it, but the whole thing literally got soaked. The camera got soaked. The microphone got soaked. I rinsed everything off with bottled water to get the salt water out. I even kind of rinsed the microphone, figuring what harm can it do? And then I dried everything out, and it was fine. It was literally fine. So I've always been impressed with the Rode mics, and I have over here the Videomic Pro Plus, and I have this small little another one of these micros that I'm recording with. So, hey, hit like, hit subscribe, come back to this channel. I'm harmless, and check out the next video. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for watching.